1 dime 2021D. The Roosevelt dime was first minted in 1946 to honor Franklin D. Roosevelt, the 32nd president of the United States who led the country through the Great Depression and World War II. His leadership and the creation of the March of Dimes campaign to combat polio made him a fitting figure to be commemorated on this small but significant coin. Fast forward to 2021. The Denver Mint produced over 1 billion Roosevelt dimes, making the 2021 D dime one of the most common dimes in circulation today. However, don't let the high mintage fool you. There are some interesting aspects to consider. Composition: 91.67% copper, 8.33% nickel, diameter 17.91 mm, weight 2.27 grams, mint mark D for Denver. Now let's talk value. In general circulation, a 2021 D dime is worth its face value of 10 cents. However, the real value comes in high-grade coins. If you have a 2021 D dime in MS65 condition or higher, it could be worth around $2 to $5 depending on the market. Those in MS67 or higher could fetch $10 or more. MS65 $5, MS67 $10. Of course, prices fluctuate, so always check the latest coin value guides or consult a professional appraiser. B-roll graded dimes in protective cases, coin value guides. Errors can make modern coins like the 2021 D dime particularly valuable. Some error dimes might include misaligned dies, off-center strikes, or doubled dies. These errors can significantly increase the coin's value, sometimes reaching into the hundreds of dollars depending on the rarity and demand. 1 dime 2014p. The Roosevelt dime has been a staple of U.S. currency since 1946, following the death of President Franklin D. Roosevelt. The dime was designed by John R. Sinak, the chief engraver of the U.S. Mint at the time. It was introduced to honor Roosevelt's legacy, particularly his efforts in founding the March of Dimes, which aimed to combat polio, a disease he personally battled. Since its introduction, the Roosevelt dime has undergone several design changes, but it has remained one of the most commonly circulated coins in the United States. The 2014 P dime is part of this ongoing tradition. Let's zoom in on the 2014 P Roosevelt dime. The P Mint mark indicates that this coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, one of the main facilities of the U.S. Mint. This dime is composed of a copper core with an outer layer made of 75% copper and 25% nickel, giving it that familiar silver appearance. The obverse of the coin features the iconic profile of Franklin D. Roosevelt, while the reverse showcases a torch, an olive branch, and an oak branch, symbols of liberty, peace, and strength, respectively. In 2014, the Philadelphia Mint produced over 1.2 billion Roosevelt dimes. With such a high mintage, the 2014 P dime is relatively common, making it readily available for collectors and still frequently seen in everyday change. Now let's talk about value. In circulated condition, the 2014 P dime is typically worth its face value of 10 cents. However, if you have a coin in uncirculated or mint state, its value can be slightly higher. A 2014 P dime in MS65 condition, for example, might be worth around $1.50 to $3 depending on the demand among collectors. For those looking for something more valuable, keep an eye out for coins with errors or unique characteristics like off-center strikes or double dies. These error coins can fetch a premium, sometimes reaching values of $50 or more. If you want to start collecting or already have a 2014 P dime, it's essential to know how to identify its condition and preserve it properly. Look for key features like luster, sharpness of the strike, and any signs of wear or damage. To keep your dimes in the best possible condition, store them in a cool, dry place, ideally in a coin holder or album. Avoid handling coins with bare hands to prevent oils from your skin from tarnishing. 1 dime 2015 D. The Roosevelt dime has been a staple of American currency since 1946, introduced to honor the 32nd President of the United States, Franklin D. Roosevelt. His leadership during the Great Depression and World War II made a lasting impact on the nation, and the dime was chosen as a tribute partly due to his efforts in founding the March of Dimes, which aimed to combat polio, a disease Roosevelt himself struggled with. The design, created by John R. Sinak, the chief engraver of the U.S. Mint at the time, features Roosevelt's profile on the obverse and a torch, olive branch, and oak branch on the reverse, symbolizing liberty, peace, and strength. Now let's fast forward to 2015. The D Mint mark on this dime indicates it was struck at the Denver Mint, one of the primary facilities of the U.S. Mint. Over 1.5 billion dimes were minted in Denver that year, making the 2015 D dime quite common in circulation. As with most modern dimes, the 2015 D is made of a clad composition comprising a core of pure copper with an outer layer of copper nickel. This gives the coin its distinctive silver-like appearance, though it contains no actual silver. Alright, let's talk value. Since the 2015 D Roosevelt dime is so common, it usually carries a value of just face value minus 10 cents, especially if it's in circulated condition. However, for those in uncirculated or near perfect condition, known as mint state coins, the value can go up slightly. Coins graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC with a grade of MS67 or higher can be valued between $1 and $2. Higher grades or those with unusual errors or variations can fetch more. But for most of us, the 2015 D dime is worth exactly what it says, minus 10 cents. Even though the 2015 D Roosevelt dime isn't a rare or highly valuable coin, it's still an important piece of our everyday currency. For collectors, it's a great example of modern minting and a reminder of Roosevelt's enduring legacy. If you come across one in your pocket change, take a moment to appreciate the history it represents. 1 dime 1999p. The Roosevelt dime has been a staple in American currency since its introduction in 1946. Named after President Franklin D. Roosevelt, the dime was first minted to commemorate his leadership and legacy, especially his efforts to combat polio through the March of Dimes campaign. Now let's focus on the 1999p Roosevelt dime. The P mint mark indicates that this coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. In 1999, the Philadelphia Mint produced a staggering 2,562,550,000 dimes. Yes, over 2.5 billion dimes were minted, making it one of the more common dimes in circulation. Despite its high mintage, the 1999p Roosevelt dime is still an interesting coin for collectors. Why? Well, it's all about condition, errors, and variations. First, let's talk about condition. Coins are graded on a scale from poor P1 to perfect mint state MS70. For circulated 1999p dimes, they typically hold their face value of 10 cents, but if you have an uncirculated or higher grade example, the value can increase. A mint state 65M S65 dime, for instance, could be worth around $2 to $5 depending on the market. Now, what about errors? Error coins can significantly increase a dime's value. For example, a 1999p Roosevelt dime with a noticeable misstrike, double die, or an off-center error can fetch anywhere from $50 to over $100 depending on the rarity and severity of the error. Let's not forget about the full torch or full bands designation. This refers to the bands on the torch on the reverse side of the dime being fully struck and visible. Dimes with full bands and higher grades are highly sought after and can command a premium price, sometimes upwards of $20 to $50. So what should you be looking for in your 1999p dimes? Pay close attention to the condition, any possible errors, and check for the full bands on the reverse side. Even though it's a common coin, the right combination of these factors can make it quite valuable. In summary, while the 1999p Roosevelt dime might seem like just another coin in your pocket, it holds a piece of history and potential value, especially for collectors. So next time you come across one, give it a closer look. You never know what hidden treasure you might have. 1967 1 dime. First, let's start with the basics. The 1967 dime is a product of the United States Mint, featuring the iconic design by John R. Sinak. It's made of 91.67% silver and 8.33% copper, weighing in at 2.27 grams and measuring 17.91 millimeters in diameter. On the obverse, we have President Franklin D. Roosevelt, who has graced the dime since 1946. Sinak's design captures Roosevelt in profile with the word Liberty above and the year 1967 below. You'll also spot In God We Trust and the mint mark, which in 1967 will either be a D for Denver or no mint mark for Philadelphia. Flip the coin over, and you'll see the reverse design featuring a torch flanked by an olive branch and an oak branch. This design symbolizes freedom and peace. The word 1 dime is prominently displayed above. The year 1967 was a period of significant change. It was during the late 1960s, a time marked by social upheaval and cultural shifts. Interestingly, 1967 was also a transitional period for U.S. coinage, with the gradual phasing out of silver content in coins. This was part of a broader effort to cope with the rising costs of silver, leading up to the Coinage Act of 1965, which eliminated silver from most circulating coins. So what's the value of a 1967 dime? In general, these coins are not particularly rare or valuable in everyday circulated condition. Most 1967 dimes are worth their face value of 10 cents or slightly more if they're in higher grades. However, if you're lucky enough to find one in exceptional mint state, it might fetch a premium, especially if it's from a rare mint mark. In terms of silver value, the 1967 dime, containing approximately 0.072 ounces of silver, will have a value based on current silver prices. Keep in mind that silver prices fluctuate, so it's always a good idea to check the latest rates. For collectors, finding a 1967 dime in mint condition can be a rewarding experience. Be sure to handle your coins with care, using gloves to prevent tarnishing. Consider storing them in protective holders to preserve their condition. And that's a wrap on our deep dive into the 1967 dime. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting out, understanding the history and value of these coins adds a layer of appreciation to your collection.